That's what it's all about, as Seth Rollins hands the official that World Heavyweight Championship. With Paul Heyman in the hospital, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed both ejected from the building by Raw General Manager Adam Pearce after the heinous attack on Roman Reigns following Roman Reigns' victory over Bronson Reed in our opening contest. Just a whole lot of chaos has ensued, and Adam Pearce said to Reed and Breaker, if you come back in this building, I will indefinitely suspend you without pay. So I don't expect to see them in the building. Rollins, basically admitting I'm going to have to enter this match by myself. But what's a world champion if I can't do it all alone? Meanwhile, LA Knight looking to roll up Punk for a quick victory here. Talk about a matchup like this. CM Punk and LA Knight teeing off on each other. Rollins wisely staying on the outside, out of the action, where he can keep his body in the best condition as possible and not let the wear and tear take out early. There's a reason that Rollins has been an architect, a visionary, a revolutionary. A great mind is Seth Rollins. And even better and far sharper than it's ever been, being under the learning tree of the Oracle, Paul Heyman. Meanwhile, Jey up at the top. Crossbody lays out Rollins, but Rollins gets the shoulder up at 2. And Jey sends Rollins to the outside onto the floor. Perhaps Jey Uso looking to fly, but CM Punk laying out Jey Uso. And that's just what happens when you have all these different variables in a match like this. It's a multi-man match. It's a fatal 4-way. 25% chance of winning for each man. Although I would like to, add in, other things, other variables in the calculations, such as main event Jey Uso entering this match less than 100%. That makes it a higher number for the other superstars to win this match. Although with Rollins' chances of winning with the help of outside interference being highly reduced, Rollins' chances on that aspect have been reduced in that part. But Punk been sent into the crowd, and now it's Rollins going after Jey. Now mocking the Second City Saint, CM Punk, his longtime rival. I mentioned earlier, those two have had 21 matches against each other. And with matches like these, when you want to get rid of a certain player in a match, you have to create some sort of temporary alliance. The Yeet, Yeah, and Yeet are working together temporarily, but now it's just on them. Jey looking to get a quick roll up here on Knight. And that's what it means to be temporary, with a Samoan drop to LA Knight. But the thing is, for Jey Uso, while even though he's entered this match injured, the adrenaline kicks in, everything starts pumping, you hardly feel it. Obviously, the exhaustion, once it wears in, the longer a match goes on, your body will feel it. With the injured midsection of Jey, when the breathing becomes heavier, it becomes harder for him to breathe. Even harder having entered this match with an injured midsection after nearly being ripped in half by a wicked spear from the unpredictable badass Braun Breaker, who, if I'm him, I wouldn't show up because, I'd like to make money. I don't want to be indefinitely suspended. Meanwhile, Rollins working on these 3 competitors. Rollins is caught in a triangle of doom. I think Rollins might have just screamed for Paul, but he's all alone. This is an unfortunate turn of events for Rollins, but it is fortunate for everybody else that Seth freaking Rollins is, in fact, all alone. And now it's LA Knight taking his turn on stomping away on Seth freaking Rollins. And now it's Punk and Knight who once again come face to face. Both, of course, everybody wants to be world champion, but there's a reason it's a world championship. Only one person can call themselves that at any particular time. Punk, of course, the previous world champion, only held it for just under 5 minutes, would love to win it back. Jey Uso, having been a world champion earlier this year, also would love to. LA Knight's never done it. His opportunity was taken from him by CM Punk after CM Punk wanted to get his revenge on Seth Rollins the Raw after SummerSlam. And an homage to the Dudley Boys, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. ECW originals made their names widely known in WWE. You know, one of 3 tag teams that were in the popular TLC matches alongside the Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian. A table has now been introduced. But look at this. Jey just laid out Punk. And Jey taking the advice of Roman Reigns to not work with anybody. And if there's anybody that has trust issues and gives great advice, it's Roman Reigns, who's had his back stabbed by Seth freaking Rollins more times than he could count. And a super kick by Jey to LA Knight. While Jey is wounded, he is still as dangerous as he's ever been. Perhaps even more dangerous, knowing that time is ticking because the pain will build up the longer this match goes on. Meanwhile, fighting deep into the crowd are Rollins and Jey, but here comes LA Knight, and Rollins doesn't realize it. LA Knight coming back into this thing. No rest for Rollins. Punk laying out both Rollins and Knight as Punk gets back in the situation after being super kicked by Jey Uso moments ago. Punk climbing up the steps, heading up to the top. Up at the top. High cross body lays out Rollins. And now starting to pick up momentum on the world champion is CM Punk with a nice swinging neck breaker. CM Punk has gotten it down to one-on-one, but the question is for how long? And that running knee. Rollins tried it earlier and did it earlier on somebody else, but there's a reason it's meant for CM Punk. And it might be time for Rollins to take a night-night nap and go to sleep. Meanwhile, a kick to the midsection by Jey to Punk. And an uppercut. And a nice step up into Geary. And a hip attack. Went for a kick to Knight, but Knight counters. And an inverted Death Valley driver. And a Shining Wizard by Punk. And Rollins with a pedigree. Rollins could put Punk away right now to retain. And a kick out by Punk at 2. It's so funny how everything works out. Rollins saying, I will make it a mission that CM Punk is never world champion as long as I live. While CM Punk did end up beating Gunther to become the world champion, Rollins made sure that it didn't last very long by cashing in the Money in the Bank after fooling everybody into believing he had a serious knee injury that would leave him out for a significant amount of time. Rollins kicked in the midsection on LA Knight. Has LA Knight right where he wants him. And a buckle bomb that has been devastating throughout the years and has taken out some of the biggest stars, including, costing Finn Balor a longer reign as Universal Champion when Finn Balor and Rollins went at it to determine the inaugural Universal Champion. Rollins connects with a frog splash on main event Jey Uso. But Jey, who's able to kick out at 2. And Jey with those ribs already busted heading into this match. The damage from that frog splash is going to be worse than it would have been had Jey entered this match at 100%. And now with Rollins the only one up on his feet, it may be Rollins to take. And now Rollins turns his attention to the last person who pinned him. And that is LA Knight. LA Knight, of course, pinning Rollins on the last edition of Saturday night's main event. Rollins mocking the megastar LA Knight. Rollins saying they don't care about you to LA Knight. And Rollins has truly taken the momentum of this match. And it's all on Rollins. Oh, LA Knight catches Rollins. And LA Knight fighting back at Seth freaking Rollins. And Rollins reverses. And down goes Rollins at the hands of LA Knight, who gets a side Russian leg sweep. But look who's back in the mix. It's Jey Uso. But gets caught with a neck breaker. And now Punk gets laid out with a scoop slam. And we're finding out whose game it is. And he's about to show CM Punk what that's all about. Meanwhile, Rollins gets in the mix. Gets planted on his head with a DDT. LA Knight back on his feet. And we've seen this before from LA Knight, that elbow drop. And there it is. And Rollins could be eating a BFT in his near future. He already knows what it tastes like. It's not the first thing I'd choose to eat if I were in Paris. But Jey Uso making sure that Rollins doesn't eat the BFT. Not for the sake of Rollins, but just to take out LA Knight in the process. Jey Uso still holding his own despite entering this match with a handicap, that being the injured ribs. Rollins heads up to the top. Jey Uso fighting back. Rollins was looking for that superplex. Oh, and Rollins gets taken down. But meanwhile, here comes LA Knight. Look at that leap from Knight. And now Punk. And a powerbomb superplex. Combo. And Punk pinned LA Knight, but LA Knight kicking out at 2. And now going for the cover on Jey to put this one away, but Jey now kicks out at 2. So close yet so far. You gotta wonder, how does this thing end with so many moving parts, different variables? How does this play out and who does it favor? a nice 30,343 crowd for La Defense Arena, a record that being for La Defense Arena here in Paris. Was looking to go for a side Russian leg sweep through the table. And the table awaits one of these two men. Uh-oh, Punk looking to take out Rollins. Rollins blocking. And a thunderous chop to Punk. And now Rollins looks to counter, perhaps looking for a pedigree on Punk through the table. Punk now looking for a GTS. Rollins, rake in the face of CM Punk. What a clothesline takes down Seth freaking Rollins. Oh, LA Knight sends CM Punk onto the table. And LA Knight repaying the favor. Oh, one for the stomp. LA Knight ducked. BFT! That's gotta be it. But Jey saves the day and keeps this match alive. And what could have been an incredible moment for LA Knight here in Paris to win his first ever world championship is taken away from him by main event Jey Uso, who stops the cover after LA Knight fully connects with a blunt force trauma that we already know has beaten Rollins in the past. And Jey is paying the price of sacrificing yourself to save your family. But still hanging on nonetheless. We're getting a yeah and yeet back and forth between the Yeet Master, Jey Uso, and the Yeah Master, LA Knight. And sending Jey to the outside, LA Knight swoops through. And Jey caught all of that and sending Jey into the French announce desk. What could be next? LA Knight cooking up something. Looking to show everybody whose game it is. Nobody involved inside the ring. The only thing that's really going on is LA Knight and Jey Uso. But here comes Rollins. Speak of the devil. And the devil shall appear. But now LA Knight dishing out some damage to Seth freaking Rollins. There's bodies everywhere in this massive fatal four-way match. This is our main event. It is for the prestigious World Heavyweight Championship. When it was first reintroduced a couple years ago at Night of Champions, Seth Rollins had beaten AJ Styles in the tournament finals. And for Seth Rollins to win it again by cashing in the Money in the Bank successfully for a second time in his career and a heist of a century, Rollins always knows how to make a full circle moment. Meanwhile, LA Knight heads up high, looking to send Rollins to the table. But LA Knight crashes and burns to the French announce desk, and nobody was home. I think it might be safe to say that LA Knight's out of the picture. LA Knight could be down, could be out. It's hard to say, but LA Knight crashed and burned hard through the French announce desk. Unfortunate timing for LA Knight. The longer this match goes on, the exhaustion, the pain, the wear, the tear, it all plays into effect. LA Knight's down and out. Jey Uso's all alone in the ring, and now look who's gonna fly. Jey is gonna soar, and with a suicide dive, taking out Seth freaking Rollins. And Jey, who now sends Seth Rollins back into the ring, Gonna go high as he looks to fly. Oh, Rollins ducks. But Jey meets a boot by Rollins. Jey returns the favor with a boot of his own. Oh, went for a forearm as Rollins. Jey, spear, but gets caught with a pedigree by Rollins into a cover. But Jey just barely kicking out. What an incredible turn of events we just saw there. Great counter by Seth freaking Rollins. That's just the veteran instincts by the World Heavyweight Champion. Punk's still down and out. We haven't seen Punk in the last few minutes of this matchup. And now it's up to Rollins to fully take out Jey Uso. Jey Uso, the most damaged of the match, having entered this match less than 100%. Although, now I might eat my words saying that after LA Knight did just go through a table and CM Punk is nowhere to be found. Seth looking for that Phoenix Splash, but nobody home. I'll tell you what was home, that super kick right to the jaw of Rollins. And the second one that came with it on the side. And for dessert, a spear. Well, I would say for dinner because dessert is an Uso splash that Rollins is about to eat. And Jey Uso connects. But Punk comes back in to the fray with an elbow drop off the top. Perhaps it's CM Punk's time to take it all home, to recapture the World Heavyweight Championship. Looking for a GTS to put away Jey Uso. And that's got it. That could be it. And a stomp by Rollins. Rollins looking to steal this one. Oh, but Punk just kicked out of the stomp just before the 3. What a world title main event match. A GTS to Jey. And you got to think if Rollins hadn't connected with that stomp to break the cover, that Punk would be champ. But we'll never know. But Rollins hit that stomp on Punk, and it didn't keep Punk down for 3. But meanwhile, this has kind of become a triple threat match with LA Knight still out from being put through that table. Rollins saying, I don't want you to touch that title ever again. I mentioned it earlier. Rollins will do everything he can to make sure that Punk never holds the world championship ever again. Saying how much he hates CM Punk. Talk about one of the most heated feuds in history. It is just so much more than two superstars who don't like each other. It is hatred. Meanwhile, Rollins with a stomp to Jey on the outside. Rollins with a stomp to LA Knight and making sure it just comes down to CM Punk. To him and CM Punk. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. Sean Bennett. Oh, my God. All he can do is watch his on. Meanwhile, Rollins' foot just stomped the steel, but nothing there. And now it's Punk with the opportunity with the GTS. And now Punk with a smirk as he has Rollins up on his shoulders. It's his moment to reclaim the World Heavyweight Championship. Don't waste your time. Who's this? Who in the world is that? Who's this? Oh! Becky Lynch just came to the aid of her husband. Becky Lynch just low-blowed Punk, allowing Rollins to get the stop on the chair. And it's all over. Talk about one of the greatest power couples. These two have held world titles together at the same time. Becky coming to the aid of her husband. You know what? There's that old saying. Behind every good man, there's a good woman. And Becky Lynch is loyal to her husband as she helps him retain the World Heavyweight Championship in this massive main event. Sean Bennett looking befuddled at the events that just transpired, but with it being anything goes, nothing that can be done about it. It seemed like it was all over. Not one, but an attempt for a second GTS. But somebody in a hoodie, all covered up, comes out to the ring, some sort of ninja. And look who it is. It turns out to be the man, the Women's Intercontinental Championship champion, Becky Lynch. This allowed Rollins to connect with the curb stomp onto the steel chair, and Rollins is still the World Heavyweight Champion. And once again, Rollins screws Punk. And what it will perhaps go down as one of the greatest feuds in WWE history. But, I could say one thing's for sure and for certain. Rollins and Punk are not done. But Rollins and Becky get to celebrate to close out an incredible night here in Paris at the La Défense Arena. And what over a week it's been. And the fun continues tomorrow night for Monday Night Raw. Rollins retains and celebrates.